appeals to ASU to go back of non-effect. Some wonder, are they really considering the students who are at home for months now?
Well, again, you know, with unionism, that's what you have in a situation where you have unionism. It's all about the power and unity and the unity of voice. NUT, and I mean, I wouldn't want to comment on, you know, whether.
No, but when the president says the politics has crept in, they give such statements credence when this kind of things happen, or doesn't it?
Well, again, I think the greatest challenge is just like the last guest here you said had said, is I think it's really about trust. That's what, because if I'm a member of ASU now, what I would be saying to myself is, okay, it's not a problem. Okay, you've said this, you've said this, you've said this. If we call off now, what's the guarantee that when we come back again to this table, you would even acknowledge us? Strikes have been, we've seen these strikes.
But then the option, the option of strike is still very much available to them, right?
Yeah, but again, you see, I guess there are some battles you don't want to fight. You know, you don't want to keep fighting over and over and over again.
Yeah, ASU says that this is going to, they hope that this is the last one that they embark upon. Do you really see that being the situation?
Well, that's why, again, that's why I said that it's an issue of trust and it's an issue about competence. Because, one, I believe the government now has lost the trust of the members of the academic union. Because you cannot claim, which is, I also like one of the things that your last guest also said, institution. You cannot claim that it was a former administration or a past administration you signed the agreement with. The agreement was signed with the federal government of Nigeria. It was signed with an institution. So if we really do have proper institutions in place, governance institutions in place, things like this will not happen. I said the last thing I said the last time as well, I said when the minister came on board and you reviewed the agreement, if at that time you knew that, oh, there is a flaw with this agreement, you didn't need to have ASU wait to call a strike before you start. You would have called a meeting, negotiation meeting, and you know that would have been an act of trust.
Let me quickly bring in this one. Because, you know, the last time there was this medical workers strike.
Yes.
Not the doctors one now. Yeah. And so they had gone to the industrial courts. They had a verdict against the government. And so the government was not fulfilling that part. They went on strike.
Yes.
Saying, look, fulfill the industrial court decision.
Yes.
And the government had no choice. They had to go back and fulfill the industrial court's decision because that's like, the, if not the final arbiter.
Exactly.
But in this case, we don't have any such thing yet. I mean, do you think the option of industrial court is still available to ASU? If they took advantage of it, would anything change in terms of how government approaches it?
Well, again, they would have considered all options. Let's bear in mind that, everyone in this union, you have all the sphere of learning there. You've got lawyers, you know, you've got lawyers and everybody, all the spheres of learning in this union. You've got from professors to a junior and senior lecturer. So I'm sure they would have considered all options. But what I just think is we need to look beyond, we obviously have to move beyond the strike. And we've got to look at all the options that are available. I think one of the first options is how do you win the trust? So the government must seek on how, you must continually seek how do you win the trust of these people. You cannot go high-handed because going high-handed will not solve the problem. And I think that's what has continually led to this issue now. I also even say we are not negotiating anymore. So there's even no point, we're not negotiating. I mean, so I think you must look to, I mean, because you really cannot morally escape it. It's been the same party, and it's been, it's been the same party, it's been the same federal government of Nigeria, you know, so really...
Plus state universities also involved.
Yes, I mean, of course, with the state universities, that's also a bit of a difference because the part that they're saying that, they're all on strike because, you know, they're all part of the agreement.
The federal doesn't pay.
But the federal don't.
So why are the states on strike?
Well, you know, I'm not in the ASU union to say why this or that. But one thing we just need to understand is the university education it needs a surgical attention. I have said before, if the government could declare a state of emergency in power, if aviation now is obviously getting a lot of attention and looking at what we can do there, education definitely is also very critical, because education is the key, is actually the cradle. That's actually what governs every other sector. So I think there must be a state of emergency on education. The government must try to win the trust of these people, get back to the table, look at what is implementable, and go ahead to implement right away without wasting any further time. Agree on the aspects that, okay, we'll need a process, it will take some process before it can get, before it can be implemented. And then, like you then said, there are the options there that, I mean, you sign an agreement that is binding and say to them that, okay, if you do not show this trust, you can take us to industrial court or whatever. I think that's what we need to do. But these universities definitely need a surgical attention.
Thank you, Afolabi Makoda, learning and training consultant. It's we'll return after the break, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you. Miguel's comments and Lekon Adeshijo, Ego Daniel, Ogundera. Okay, let's see which one comes up first. Which one are we going to pop up to see? Okay, let's see. This one coming through from Ihidara, talking about ASU strike. He says, let the government learn. ASU has been taken for granted in the past. This will always repeat itself if not corrected now.
Well, that's another one there from Pung. We need to see this as a massive threat to national security, putting in consideration Boko Haram's primary goal.
To join us.
And you have one more, I believe, from, is that, what's that? Levert, okay? National Conference. The committee needs enough time to prepare well, because to fail to prepare is to prepare to fail. That's what Levert thinks.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, then. That's where we draw the curtains today. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. I'm Chamberlain Oso.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm Maokwe Ogun.
Well, many thanks. Sulaiman, our lady.
At first, it's only anticipation that something is about to happen. This is one thing that makes life interesting. To compete not only with players across the field, but across the world. It makes me feel joy when we win.